Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Empires of Steel episode 8 for our series. And last time we left off, we had pushed the Canadians back pretty far. They tried to drive a military force down here into the middle of our territory, but we did push them back, and now we're going through to claim back some of these tiles that we've lost. We're also kind of starting to push back in the naval aspect, maybe grab some of these tiles back up, because we definitely need them to help get our oil, steel, and food coming back in. We have pretty large reserves and a pretty large pile of cash to kind of buy some more up, but if I keep going at this rate, I'm eventually going to run out. Now, I do apologize ahead of time. I am somewhat sick. I got a flu shot recently, and for some reason, I always get sick when I get the flu shot. I think it's because, you know, they inject the live virus into you or whatever, but it really sucks. Holy crap, and a lot of stuff's happening. So we've got a pretty large Canadian force actually moving up over on our city here. Definitely going to need to do something about that. Where are we looking at right now? Kaohsiung. Is that what we're looking at? Yes. It's about to build an Air Force base. Let's have it produce wealth afterwards. This army's still moving down. I'm trying to capture as many tiles down this way as I can, especially if I can get some food tiles. Looks like we won that naval battle over there. And I've got a massive air force here that I need to station somewhere. Can I do a bombing run and then fly into Sydney? Let's do that. And then for you, I've got some SAMs here. I'm going to put those on this fort here. They're about to capture that gold. We've got a pretty large force here. I'm going to send this force over this way because I don't feel like I have enough protecting me over here. As you can see, there's a fairly large force of Canadians coming in over here. Let's go attack these here. And then I've got an artillery piece in that city, but other than that, that's all I have. Instead of the bombing run, why don't we just go straight to Sydney, and then I could try to do a bombing run on some of these tanks that are coming in on us. Especially since I've got, let's see, these guys are going to capture this, and then I can turn them around. You know what? Actually, no. Let's continue the plan. We'll go bombing, and then we'll go for Sydney. I gotta switch that up. Bombing, and then Sydney. There we go. Okay, you're going to keep moving them down that way. As for these guys, how far? The map still goes pretty far down this way. Why don't we start moving this force out? Or, actually, why don't we go base them up and do a little bit of healing? These guys are full health, so I won't worry about them. Alright, he's coming down to do some capturing, it looks like. Maybe. Did this get captured from me? Why don't you go there and there? I do need to start getting a navy pumped out. We'll hold off on that a little bit, though. I've got a lot of ground forces moving out. And we lost that ship up there. That was expected, I guess. Looks like I took this city down here, though. Let's get a radar. And we'll have them produce wealth. What's the production of this city? Population 15, so production about 15, right? Or total production is actually 23. You know what? Let's go for a radar. And after the radar, let's actually get some units. So how about 4 infantry, 2 tanks, and 2 artillery? Just a small task force. And that'll give me 2 military groups down here to kind of work with. Okay, we're capturing that food. Then we're going to go for that food. And I'm just going to kind of wrap around here. What do I got on this? My artillery piece. Okay. Yep, I want you to capture that. I've got that tank on that gold now. I want to send him up into Sydney, I believe. And then hopefully send him over to Kano here, Kano. I've got a lot of enemies moving around over there. As for this force, let's move them back so we can retake a lot of this. And then I've got my bombing run here. Let's do a bombing run on that tank. So let's actually move them into Kano. And if they're going to be moving into Kano, let's have Kano produce 2 pieces of artillery and 2 infantry units to replenish this military. I guess this division here we got. There we go. Lots of bombing going on. Combat reports. Things are taking damage. Bomber was shot down. I got to look at the screen a little bit more often. Upgrade all possible units. So where is our Air Force? Okay, they're all in here and they need to heal up. So we're going to leave them in there for a second. We're going to take this tank and send him out to capture this food, I guess. Can I have these guys destroy that? I know they're air. You know what? Just leave them there, actually. Or just cancel their orders. We'll grab up this group here. That's got an older tank in it still. And come get this paratrooper. Actually, come down to this food here, because I'm guessing that's where he's going. Holy crap, I moved that one force out to heal up, and they just roll in here deep and just capture a ton of tiles. Oh, that's disappointing on so many levels. Okay, go down that way. You're going to have to push back down through this 4. I can't, every single time I move forces back to heal up, they come in and they come in with a massive force and they start retaking tiles. I'm liking this though because I like the fact that the game is not letting me win. It feels like I'm just constantly pushing back, and holy crap. They sent a massive fleet up this way full of, what is this here? Cruiser class 3s. Not good at all. Definitely not good. A little nervous there. Definitely need to do some bombing runs, but they'll shoot all of my aircraft down. I'm gonna guess they're gonna come over here to try to recapture a lot of this stuff that I'm trying to capture back. I've got infantry getting produced there, a whole nother division getting produced there, as well as a couple down in here. Boy, this is tough. I know that because I've fallen so far behind with naval forces and with my air force, that the only place I can really beat them is on the ground, which is why I'm kind of pushing pretty hard to get my ground forces mustered up, because if I can beat them on the land, I mean, they can only hold, there's only so much they can do on the water. If I beat back and take all their cities on the land, they're going to lose. So I'm kind of trying to find that balance, you know, balance out my economy from the land, and it's very difficult to do. I'm just going to let the turn tick by here and see what these guys do. Okay, they're definitely going to go straight for Kano. They're going to take that city if I don't do something about that. I can get that force in there very easily, but... Alright, you guys go take out the paratrooper. And, okay, these are all healed up. Let's do a bombing run, and I even have a Class 1 battleship here, which is going to do nothing. Let's get out there, though, and maybe we could draw them away from Kano. That is a possibility. I have this building a couple more battleships. Can I... cancel that and get a couple class 2 destroyers instead, and then because those will build a little bit quicker. And then for research, I know I'm working on all of my ground stuff, and that's fine, but I would like to get I really need to do something about my navy, so let's just get all of that queued up. I need to address the naval situation. Alright, good bombing run there on that battleship. We did, of course, lose a lot of vehicles. They've got a small force kind of moving in here, but I think these guys are going to be able to handle it perfectly fine. I want them to heal up. These guys are fighting back and holding their ground. Let's move this unit out, recapture that oil. Capture this food and steel, and then I'm going to start driving deeper into their land, because at this point it looks like that's the only way I'm going to be able to actually stop them, is if I start getting out there. Alright, so for this city we need to definitely get some more stuff producing. Let's go for 2, 3, 4 infantry, 2 artillery, and 4 tanks. Because if I drive these guys deeper down in there, so my plan is to take both of these units and go deeper down this way. And if I do that, I want to have two, basically, groups getting built. One in Kaohsiung and one in Chittagong, or whatever you want to say, however you want to pronounce those. Getting produced to cover the rear if these two forces that I'm moving deeper in end up getting captured. Alright, I've got infantry unit there. Why don't we go for a bombing run on him? The city's still holding out, just barely, but they are holding out. I'm hoping if I go through and kind of capture some of these, it'll pull their fleet away from me. I'm going to start, it's going to take a while, but I'm going to move this artillery piece down there into that city. I'm thinking about detaching this artillery as well, but I'm not going to do that. Alright, these guys are moving down in to capture the gold. Let's have those guys, okay, they're set up to do that. How are we looking for resources? Food's starting to get down there. Steel's on the rise again. Oil's still hurting. But cash is good. Why don't we buy up some more food? 500 food. 1,500. Alright. It's pretty much going to do it for food. That's going to be probably the last time I can buy food in bulk. So if I don't fix this soon, we're going to be hurting. Ooh, the Canadians are doing a massive push right now. Where is this? What am I looking at? Kano. Yeah, Kano is really taking it. What is going to help fight these? I bet these missile launchers would be pretty useful. I get some missile launchers. Alright, they're pushing back up here in the middle again. They've actually taken out a pretty large group of this. Let's get some bombing going. Okay, they are going to do some bombing. I'm going to have to reroute this unit here and send him up to actually help out. Because I can already tell it's getting pretty bad. So we'll start routing him up that way, but I'm going to keep driving this unit deeper into their territory. If Kano falls, then I'm going to be kind of set back pretty bad. I don't really have a choke point up here, so this is going to leave all of this vulnerable. And this unit here is not doing too well. I think he could take out that missile launcher probably perfectly fine. The bombers could do some damage on that tank there. I've got an artillery piece moving in. I'm going to actually reroute him to the gold. And then I've got two forces getting built up back there, but we'll see how those do. Let's go up and capture this oil here. Or actually, why don't we move down and capture this food? Because I can send this guy to that oil and then over to that one. Once I get energy weapons, I'm going to be sitting pretty nice. My land forces will be probably way more developed than my enemies. Let's move and try to bunker up in this fort here because they've got just insane amounts of units moving in. I wish I could buy, I wish I could outright buy units. That would be really useful. I have so much cash that I could just, I can only imagine what I could do if I could just buy units. I don't really want to bomb and run anything that I don't know is actually there. So let's move in that way. I see they're chasing me right now with the capturing. That's fine. I'll let them do that. Thinking about moving back to this fort and sitting on it for a second. While as I reroute this. You know what? You go into Sydney. Sydney's building me a destroyer. I wanted to get a couple destroyers to go out here and deal with this, all these destroyers over here. But I don't even know if that's going to help me because these are all, what, battleship class 2s, cruiser class 3s. Destroyer class 2s are probably not going to really do anything, but let's send him up in here to do some healing, and then maybe I'll get that. I'll attach this artillery piece to him, and you know what? Or how close are these to building my 1.4, 1.5? Still a little ways away before those divisions are completed. How are we doing on cash? Not bad. Food's kind of okay, since I've lost a couple units. This is tough. This is really tough. I feel like I'm really being challenged here. I like it a lot. I've really got to think of my moves. Okay, I've got this pretty large force moving up in here. That's going to make a pretty big difference. Once they get up here, I've got to chase this unit that's going all the way. Let's go and capture both of these. And then maybe that artillery piece can handle whatever's there because it's probably just like a artillery unit or something. I don't think it's anything too special. Try to keep capturing these and keep the battleship somewhat ahead of them. Kano is really holding out over here. Immensely holding out. It's impressive. They're building those missile launchers and probably losing them as they build them. Or maybe they're about to build the first one. 1.8 turns for this one. After the missile launchers, why don't we get some artillery? Because that also helps as well. I'm just trying my best to hold out because Kano's got a production of 20 as well. I think those missile launchers will make a huge difference. Okay, we've got this in here healing up. The bomber has really had some damage done to it. Holy crap. This tank is capturing all these cities. Okay. That is an issue. I need to go back and stop this guy, so let's... Actually, there's some units in that city there. Let's go up and just cut them off there, and this artillery piece can honestly probably capture all of these cities without an issue. I've got 2 artillery guys here, or infantry class 5s here, which I think will be enough to take out this tank. In all honesty. Okay, let's have these guys enter Sydney here so they can heal up a little bit. And Sydney does have a bomber, but that's not going to do me any good. Let's take the bomber. Let's get the bomber in Pagoda. And then for Pagoda, let's switch you over. Well, I want to have you build me some bombers, but your production's kind of terrible. So go back to producing wealth, actually. New York's got a production at 19, but they're building me a pretty large force right now. You know, we'll just keep the bomber there. If anything, this will definitely be the place I need a bomber. All right, let's submit our orders. There we go. There's a huge force right there, but I captured all of that. Took out that tank. This artillery piece here is going to go down and capture the city. I don't want these cities producing units. As you can see, they're starting to produce some tactical bombers. That is not good at all. I'm going to have to go back and capture those cities. So I can't afford to be getting bombed from behind lines. Looks like we're running into a pretty large Canadian force here trying to get into Sydney. I'm going to take this group here and drive them out. And then New York, how close are you? What do you have left to build? Some artillery pieces. I'm going to send this force out without the artillery. And then the artillery can join up with it after, but I need to start getting some of these units moving along. I'm actually going to bring this group into this fort here and have them join up with that flak, and I'm going to bring the flak with me. Lots of crazy stuff going on. Okay, let's see what we've got here. So we've recaptured Dali back. Let's just have it produce wealth. It's not really good for anything else right now because it's got a low production. Okay, switch these guys around. Let's go for this missile launcher. Because Detroit will easily be able to be captured by this piece of artillery. Things are still getting really ugly over here. Looks like I'm inside Sydney now, though, with my forces. This is getting intense. Okay. This is one artillery unit, so enter Sydney. Or not artillery, infantry unit. What is going on over here? Why does this look like this? If I've got this food. Not sure. Alright, we're going to disband this group here and join them up. And let's move this force down. This is going to be a pretty large force moving in. We're definitely going to need them over here by Kano and all this area, because I got to set somebody on this fort here if I'm going to keep them from coming over this way. So let's just drive them down Let's bring them down the middle here, and then I can decide once they get down there where I need them to go. Those things are getting kind of rough right now. Okay, let's go for this infantry unit actually, and then after that we'll move down to this steel. Artillery is going to take Detroit back, and I've got some units positioned on Chittagong and Kaohsiung, and those cities are still trying to produce me up some amount of forces. Okay, that huge group of ships just left Kano, so clearly they realized they couldn't take it, and they were like, screw this, we're out, and now they're going somewhere else, and I'm kind of nervous and I want to know where. Let's get all these infantry units together. Let's get this artillery piece on Kaohsiung, then we'll take all the infantry, move it all down to Chittagong, and then move them all up, I think is going to be the plan. I'm not worried about that. Let's send this force back down this way. I want him to capture, I want him to blow up that artillery piece. That's the main thing I'm worried about. Okay, this guy is healing up. He's the last survivor of one of the larger groups I had up here. Okay, so this whole naval force has decided to move. Where are they going? I guess they realized they couldn't take this city. Not after, of course, already pretty much obliterating everybody in it. And now they're moving out. Where are they going? Well, this city's pretty nice. They've got a massive, their population of 20, which is insane. So let's have them, let's see, -4 oil. Let's build a nuclear power plant. No, I'm actually not worried about the uranium. Let's build a nuclear power plant, and then let's get, definitely get some units pumping out here. Alright, 2 artillery, 4 tanks. Yeah, we'll just start getting that all moving along. Got these destroyers trying to get moved out. 1 bomber here. I would like to do some bombing, but I know that bomber will get shot down. So I'm just going to leave him in Bogota. I have a feeling that's where they're actually going, is Bogota. I feel like maybe I should move this force that way now, just in case that's what they're doing. Let's do that. Let's start moving this force back that way. If they go for Bogota or Guadalajara, I will position this force inside those cities to help defend them. Oh, we're coming back. Okay, so maybe they were just going for something real quick. That kind of sucks because now I got to take this force and steer them around. New York just produced is about to produce the last artillery piece. After that, they'll be set up to produce some other stuff. Why don't we go with wealth for a little bit? And let's keep this force coming back down this way. Which is kind of a bummer, but... And this is almost done as well. Alright, as for you and you, I want you to go port up in Guadalajara, and I want you, you're really weak as well. I could have you port up here probably to heal, right? Nope, I guess that's not considered on the border, okay, or on the coast. So let's send you down that way. This guy's trying all he can to hold all of this. I'm gonna capture that food and then set him on the fort for a minute. And let's start putting these groups together. So that's a decent enough group. I've got a tank now. I've actually got a pretty large group. I'm just going to combine these guys together, I think, into a massive force. And okay, so that's how we're looking so far, but we are out of time for this episode. Kano is still getting just the crap beat out of it. I might move this force down that way now that they're set up. I think I'm going to start coming down this way, actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to start moving this force down into Kano. We need to back that place up because these ships here are just going to keep wrecking it. There's so many of them. Maybe actually what I'll do is I'll have Sydney produce, instead of destroyers, why don't I have Sydney work on a massive pile of artillery and missile launchers, and we'll try to deal with them that way. So that's what we'll do. We'll get some artillery, some missile launchers. I'll move this group out to capture a bunch of this food, because that's definitely a priority. And hopefully we can hold Kano. But yep, we're going to leave the episode off here. So I do hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.